My name is April Armstrong. I am an agent with the Oldfather Group at Compass Real Estate, and I've been in real estate for about 4 years cumulatively and a year with the Oldfather Group. I have a background in fashion merchandising, and that led me into sales, and I worked in sales for most of my career. I ended up as an account executive at a luxury consignment company. And the way that fashion bridges into real estate, I would say that translates the most literally, is that in fashion merchandising, you're responsible for getting the right product to the right customer at the right time for the right price. And that's essentially what you're doing in real estate, is finding the right house for the right person at the right time in their lives and making sure that they get it at the price that they're looking for, or that they sell it at the price that they're looking for. So it goes hand in hand, and that is how I ended up selling real estate. The biggest value in working with the real estate agent is getting the insider knowledge of the community that you're searching inside of, because we oftentimes live in the communities, we live in the area, we know what is going on in the area, we know what's coming down the pike, we know what we live with on a day-to-day basis in an area. So if it's a growing area or a changing area, these are all things that you can't find on Zillow or a lot of those popular apps. And while those apps are very helpful in terms of maybe finding out how much an area is going to go for, or a home in an area is going to go for, you don't get that personalized feel of the area without an agent. And just knowing about restaurants and local nightlife and bars and beaches and all of those things, and the kind of neighbors you're going to have and what kind of things you want to do on the weekends with those neighbors, all of that stuff comes into play, and you can't get that on Zillow. In terms of community, we know the communities, and we have friends and neighbors and family members that live in the community. So if you're looking for a certain feel, which in this area, in Sussex County, eastern Sussex County, people are coming for maybe retirement or a second home. They were really looking for a specific type of lifestyle, be it active adult or just more of a relaxed lifestyle. Whereas in other areas, people might be moving for jobs, or they might be moving for school. When you're moving down here, the off time is important. So community is a little more important down in this area. So for us as agents, understanding community and understanding what your experience is going to be in this neighborhood versus that neighborhood, or this town of the area versus that town of the area, is something that is beneficial. The biggest sense of responsibility is making sure that either you are selling your house for the price that you expected, or you're purchasing your house for the price that you expected, and you're getting that value for the price. So making sure that clients understand where they're purchasing, what area they're getting into, and this ties back into the community aspect of it, and they're getting exactly what they're looking for. If they want to be closer to the beach or a little farther from the beach, or if they want to be closer to shopping, making sure that they have all of those things in the home that they end up choosing. So a quick tip from me, as someone who works with a lot of people who are building new homes down here, we have a lot of new construction, is when you purchase a new home, get all the windows that you possibly can, because you want as much natural light as you possibly can get. If the option is to have 4 windows in a room and the upgrade is to have 6, get those 6 windows. Maybe knock out something else, but get those windows, because you don't want to go back in the end and have to break down walls just to get that natural light. A common myth in real estate is that all markets are the same at the same time. A lot of people from other areas, we have a lot of people coming in from New York, New Jersey, Maryland, DC, Virginia, and they say, I know the market's really strong right now. And they might be talking about the market where they came from, but they're not considering the market where they're going. And so I have friends from New York who are like, are we having a bidding war down in the area that you're in? And I'm like, no, right now it's a little bit different. How's your area? So it depends on the specific area. They're micro markets and they're niche markets. And so I feel that buyers and sellers have to remember that each market can be as different and as specific as even just a community in a neighborhood. I had one client who had a son with autism, and he had trouble transitioning spaces. So we had trouble going from the car to the house, and then walking around the house, and then coming back out of the house. And so she had to oftentimes cut meetings short or cut showings short. And she kept apologizing, thinking they weren't ever going to find a house because of it. And that sort of thing doesn't really, it doesn't bother me that much at all. So We ended up finding them a house, and the manager I had at the time was like, it really depends on the style of agent and the style of client, matching them up together, because certain agents wouldn't have been able to handle going in and out with a child that was like upset and crying. And so that's a time that I really felt like I connected with the client in real estate. When you're working with new construction and new build, you can work with a real estate agent in that process. A lot of people think that once they find the builder or the developer that they don't have to use an agent or they don't need to use an agent. So there's that. And then the second is you have to think of the orientation of your house with the sun. You have the option to flip basically every floor plan. So your garage can be on the left and the front door on the right, or vice versa with every plan. So make sure when you're positioning your house, you think of where the sun is coming in and where the sun is going to be setting. So you're getting the light at the right time in the right spot. In terms of Compass, it really is the technology and having the bandwidth and the capability of having everything that we need on our laptops or our desktops, also on our phones. And for me, the biggest one is the collections, the Compass collections, and that's when you take a client's search and you put it into a group. And in that group, you're able to communicate with the client directly, and you get notifications and alerts as something changes in their search inside the group. If one of the houses that they're interested in has a price reduction, we get that as a text message or a notification on our phone immediately, and then we can push, and it goes straight to the client, but then we can also reach out to the client and say, hey, did you see that? So we can keep in constant contact with them. And for the Oldfather group, they set us up for success specifically with the training and the tiering and the structuring of the groups. So when you come in as a new agent with the Oldfather group, we've got a ton of training, and it's consistent and at the same time on a weekly basis. So we know where we're supposed to be, what time, when, where, to get the help that we need to move our business forward. And also the collaboration and knowing that we have people in place that we can go to and who those people are whenever we have questions.